Thank you for buying a UK Barrow Conversions kit. In this video we'll be going through how to install, but for full instructions on what's included, please refer to the paperwork inside the parcel. Firstly, you need to remove the original front wheel and front forks using the moulded thumb screws. You'll need to keep hold of these as you will need to reuse them for the new front wheel and forks. You can now fit your new front forks and front wheel. Make sure that the cable for the power is running along the right hand side. This is as if you were pushing the barrow. This can be a little fiddly, so we recommend either flip the barrow upside down or get a second pair of hands if you can. Make sure the front forks are butt up all the way and then reinstall the original moulded thumb screws. Moving to the back end of the barrow, we're now looking to remove the original handlebars. The handlebars are simply retained by the grips themselves, which have a rivet that hold them in place. You will need to remove the rivet. We recommend using a drill as per the video. Once you've successfully removed the head of the rivet, you can then just slide the grip off and the bars are ready to remove. Removing the bars can be quite fiddly. As you'll see, we have two of us on it, one sliding the bar foam out of the way whilst the other pulls from the other end. It's not hard to do, but it is quite fiddly. You can now slide through the UK Barrow Conversions handlebar. We like to reuse the original bar foam pad, so you can see that we pass this through as well. And once secured in place, we recommend to use a tape measure to measure both sides just to make sure that it is centralised. Once you're happy that the handlebar is centralised and measures equal both sides, you can then commit to drilling it. You'll see on the back side here we're just using a 4mm drill bit just to make sure that we retain the bar in place. Once the 4mm hole is drilled, you'll see that we're using the self-tapping screw that's provided with the kit, and that will retain the bar in place. And then you repeat the process for the other side as well. Make sure the screw is just nipped up tight. It doesn't need to be overly tight. You can risk over tightening it and stripping the threads. We can now mount our thumb throttle. We always suggest to mount this on the right hand side due to its design, and it has a small grub screw that is tightened up by an Allen key to retain it in place. We repeat the process on the left hand side for the 3-speed adjustable control and also the reverse switch. And the same again for the cruise control. All of these are retained by grub screws. We can now fit the grips to the handlebars. You can adjust the length of the grip if you wish, you can shorten it, you can cut the flange off if you need to. If you fit the cruise control and the 3-speed adjustable switch on the one side, you will need to shorten the grip a little bit. Next up, we're securing the batteries in the waterproof box. Use the adhesive Velcro supplied, peel off the backing, and then position in place. The positioning can be adjusted, but we always recommend to position it exactly where we do in the video. Repeat the process for the second battery. Position them side by side. You should now be left with one more piece of Velcro and repeat the process. This is done for the ECU. The ECU will sit just behind the batteries. There is a small gap there, but again, you can adjust the position if you need to. It's now time to start tidying away and routing some of the cabling. Inside the waterproof box, there is a cable tidy. To remove this, simply press in at the sides and it will remove out of place. There is now a waterproof seal that you should be able to see, which you do not need to remove, and this has several ridges in it to allow cables to run through. There are several slots available, so you can route each cable through its own individual slot to keep it nice and tidy. There's no rule to this, you can route it completely however you like, just as long as they're spaced out nice and evenly, just to make sure that it's nice and tidy. Once you're happy with your positioning of everything, you can now replace the cable clamp tidy. This just clips back in place. We can now look at connecting our wheel. There is one 5-pin connector which just plugs in, and then you have 3 individual bullet connectors. They all colour match, so yellow goes to yellow, blue goes to blue, and green goes to green. Make sure they're all connected nicely and pushed in all the way. We can now look at connecting the batteries. You'll notice you'll get one short wire in the kit that's got 2 spade connectors. One will have a red terminal and the other will have black. Naturally, the red is for positive and the black is for negative, and this is to join the batteries. We can now connect the main power to the ECU. The black is the negative and the red is the positive. The main red wire will already have the fuse installed, so you may get a small spark when installing this. We are now done with the wiring side, so we can now close the lid. Make sure the lid is fully latched to get that waterproof seal and route the cables where you want them to position and sit. To tie the job up nicely, you'll get some Velcro straps supplied with the kit. Instead of using cable ties, we recommend to use Velcro straps because they are removable in case you ever need to fold the barrow away. There are 6 supplied. We recommend using 4 on the bars themselves and then 2 for the wheel itself. We're now ready to power up and use the barrow. There is a red switch on the underside of the thumb throttle, and when turned on you should get 3 lights.